Welcome to Evolve Here Now, the podcast for leaders who are advancing the meaning and impact of business success, full spectrum health, medicine, and high performance in all areas of life.
This is your home if you are a leader who is ready to step up your impact, inspiration, and personal evolution so that you can serve at the level you know you're capable of and beyond.
Join us now as we recharge, elevate, and accelerate you on your journey into this accelerated evolution community of the world's top influencers.
I'm your host, Talia Jacqueline.
I'm the founder, Satyan Raja, and once again, it's time to accelerate your evolution and your leadership.
Welcome to Evolve Here Now. This is episode 11, and today I have a real honor of introducing Satyan's wife, Suzanne Raja. Suzanne is just, how do I even begin to explain you in words? But I met Suzanne about a year and a half ago through one of the programs in Accelerated Evolution, the Master Coach program. And I'll say this much, that the moments that I've shared with you, especially in our coaching, have truly catapulted my life and my own journey. So many of you who are listening know Suzanne, and many of you don't, and you're about to. But regardless, you really are just a role model of grace and wisdom and power and absolute radiance. So I'd love for you to give us a little bit of an insight. Has it always been like that for you? And what has your journey to that been, if it hasn't?
Once I want to thank you for having me on your show. First of all, Talia, it's such a pleasure to be here with you and your audience. Let's see. My journey has been one of really knowing that there's more to life than just the everyday. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come home and, you watch TV or whatever, and then you go to bed, that kind of thing. Which I think life can be like, you can be tired, you can go to work, you can be tired and all this kind of stuff. I knew very on there is a spiritual component to life. And it's something that I have sought after. And it's what I call truth. There's something more to life than just what you see. And I sought after depth. I wanted more of life. And so,
how far back does that go for you?
That goes back when I was a little girl, at my grandmother's feet, I would say. And my grandmother really was the one who had always had this spiritual component to her as well. She's, I have a Catholic background. I grew up Catholic. And my grandmother would say her rosary at night with me snuggled in her bed, and I'd go and stay over at her place. And I thought she was the sweetest woman alive. And so I would snuggle with her and she would say the entire rosary, which would take a while, and the things that she would say would take a while to say. And for me, I felt like we went to a place together. We went to a beautiful, sweet place when we would pray. And she would pray and I would listen and I would learn from her. And there was a sweetness to life when we would do that. And, life would go on, and my parents were spiritual. They never force-fed me anything, but they lived a life of honoring and gratitude, And so there was always that thread, and there was always that golden thread that I would follow. I think for me, one of the things that also really touched me was I worked with disabled children in a group home, various group homes, autistic children primarily. And I felt more blessed to be with them than anyone paying me. I felt like are you kidding me right now? You're paying me to be with these angels. I get to actually sit with people who are in what other people would say are a world of their own. And I would see that magic in their eyes, and I'd want to go there.
Wow.
Yeah. And the moments where they would let me into their world because I was doing something that they went, she's more into me than herself. Oh, okay, I'll let her in, or whatever that was. Those were moments of grace. And I knew that there was more to life than just what I observed.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, that opened me up, and I prayed to be in a partnership with someone that was of depth. And so I was privileged to meet my husband, and we both had this yearning for more.
When did you meet? I know, but for those of you listening, how far back do you and Satian go?
Forever.
Beyond this lifetime.
Forever and ever. We've been together for about 30 years, which is more than half my life. I'm going to be 50 this year.
Wow.
So we've been together for a long time. Yeah. But really, when we met, it was a knowing, there was a knowing there. And so I'm excited to be talking to you today because our union has really opened up so much. It's a combination of our yearning for more. And this is why we're here today. And this is why I believe you're doing what you're doing, is because you also wanted more depth. And those that are listening too. And so whatever I can add to that, it would be my honor and privilege.
Thank you. Thank you so much for also just sharing your heart's yearning and offering that here. It's really received and by me and by everyone listening. And I'd love for you to take us through like a little bit of a journey as to what your experience with that yearning has been and where that's led you as you've followed that and as you've really stepped into that throughout your evolution, your personal evolution. So I know that as Satien's wife, and even in your own practice throughout the years, you guys have been through a lot of personal development and a lot of different things and a lot of different incredible teachers. And what has your evolution been through all of that, and what have you experienced?
So much. When you ask me that question, I'm almost brought to tears, because what this accelerated evolution has done for me is it's taken me into a journey into myself. It's taken me to travel into me, where for many years, I wanted to, my greatest wish was to be a wife and a mother. That was my greatest wish. And for many years I looked back and I was like, well, there's got to be more than that. I can go, I'm a career woman as well. I can make it in the world, and I do. And all of that is your greatest wish, to be a wife and a mother. And through this work, I got the sacredness of that, of the truth of that for me, and what that meant for me. And it's a gift because everything that I do and everything that I teach is born from that yearning and from that gratitude of having had that in my life and having followed that path to that in my life. And so first is my family, and everything that I teach from there is aligned from that place. And so for many years I felt wrong for having wanted that and yearned for that. But through this work, what it came back to was the truth of my love, my deep love, and who I am, and finding out who I am at my core. And so my yearning was true and is true for me. And because I found that, everything that I do is brightened by that yearning, by that realization of that, you know? And it took me a while to find that. But when I did, through this work, through these processes, through this methodology, I was able to like settle in and get it and be proud of it and happy and radiate that and celebrate when others find the truth for them as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And what's so amazing, you know, for me, just listening and applying it into my own life and into, I think, a lot of women's lives, where there's this sense of that not being enough. Like you said, around, oh, that's all? Like, it's just to love, and it's just to have a family and have children and to be a source of love for that. What about my career? What about my purpose? Like, that's not enough. And I think that that's a common thread for so many of us, myself included at times, of just that's not enough. And rather than having it come from that place, it becomes a desert in a way, where you're trying to have it filled by other things. So it's really beautiful that you're such an example for me in my life, and I'm sure now for so many who are getting to know you, of having it be sourced from that place. So I'd love for you to just speak to that, knowing what you know about how common that is for so many women, and even in your own life, how prevalent it was.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I grew up with very strong women in my life. When people ask me, who are your role models? What women, what men, I source my family, because they're a bunch of strong people. And so I grew up with this knowing that I must make something of myself.
Yeah.
Because if I don't make something of myself, then I'm weak, And there's a truth in finding what you're skilled at and offer that in the world. And there's a good thing in that. And I'm also really skilled in loving, being the best devoted wife that I can be. And it's a work in progress, and a mother, and all of that. And I've watched in my life very strong women who are awesome. Like you say, try to get out there and be that career woman, but not necessarily just being the career woman for the sake of that's something that they love, but doing that from a place of reaction to being told you've got to do something, you've got to make something of yourself, when they don't realize that they've already made something by themselves by being here. By being here, you've made it. Congratulate yourself. Have that gratitude, and then anything that comes from there, that's born from that place of I've already made it. I'm pretty amazing. And what I love is pretty amazing, doesn't matter what it is. And follow that thread, then whatever you create in your career, in your life, in your home, from that place is true and aligned to you. And so if everyone does that, they don't just work, but they live a life that's born of their love, of the freedom that they are, then we're a happier world,
Yeah.
And that's what I found in my own life, that I'm happier because I'm making choices from the truth of who I am at my core. And it's this work that has, accelerated evolution, that has supported that for me.
In what ways for you, so specifically, through some of the experience that you've had with, these processes, and just receiving it for your own evolution, and then using that then to empower your own clients. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I will tell you that the most pivotal moment for me was when I really got the truth of who I am at my core. That ultimately was where it led to fireworks, because excel in the methodology in accelerated evolution will have you feel fantastic. Yeah, you'll go through different things. I actually liken it to a deep tissue massage. Because deep tissue massage can be deep and it can be, God, that hurt. Some people really love it. For me, it can hurt at first, right? But that pressure, what happens is if you let go, which is what happens in accelerated evolution, is to let go. What happens is there's a release that happens, and then you feel so amazing after. So for me, I had a lot of feel-good moments and times and release and beauty. But the ultimate for me is when I found the truth of who I am at my core, that depth, that real love that I am. Really got a sense of it. Nothing someone told me, nothing I thought I should be, none of all of that. All the pieces were peeled away. When I found that, I could rest. And I could realize that time is eternal for me. I have all the time in the world. And because I got me, I'm okay about you getting you. I'm okay. I have an okayness. And so the depth of contact that I have now with others is not a fear of contact, but a deep, sustaining, fulfilling contact that colors everything that I do in my life. And I use the word fulfilling, and it's a real deep sense of fulfillment and joy and gratitude.
Thank you. Well, you surely emanate that. It's so amazing. You've totally thrown me off. I'm totally getting lost in it's because it really is that, and I know you enough to know that. I mean, you really do live your life that way. So for the women that are listening, especially, what is your message to them in that being really their birthright to live that way?
Yeah. My message to you, beautiful beings out there who are listening to this, you women who are listening to this and don't know who you are, and maybe going, what is she talking about? Who I am? I know who I am. I'm Suzanne. I lead this. I'm the teacher. I'm the this. I'm the this. No, you're not that. You're something even more precious. So my message to you is find someone that can take you through this methodology, and on that great, mysterious, precious journey to yourself, give yourself this gift and find who you are so that you can align everything that you do from this precious, blessed place. Because then you'll find your life takes on a whole new level of excitement and profundity that you never knew was possible. That is possible.
Thank you. How have you found like that feeling stay with you? I mean, because I'm sure you experienced that process, or this experience of finding who you are a while ago, and you speak from a place of being so connected to that still. So what's your experience with just the permanency of that?
That's the beauty of it, is that it doesn't go away. As long as I'm here, it's here. As long as I'm here, the awareness of that is here. And it can't be taken away from me. Nothing, no one can do anything to me. Not that anyone would, but nothing can be done to you to take this away from you. This gift is yours. It is your birthright. So go and get it and take it for yourself and know that it's yours and it won't go anywhere. And that's the joy of it. Joy of it.
What does life become from that place, from having experienced that? How is your life different? And what did it used to be? So when you were conflicted around needing to make something of yourself, like being told that you had to kind of find a purpose, that wasn't enough to just be love and have it flow out that way. What was your life like then?
Yeah, what my life was like then was trying to um, justify myself to others, you know, justify myself why I felt this way, why I thought this way, why, you know, and what happens when you try and justify others is you end up I ended up making others wrong for judging me. And so I had all kinds of projections on other people. And now, because I know who I am and what is at my deepest core, and I'm okay with that, happy with that, joyous with that,
Mm.
I I am more loving to others. I can see them, and I'm joyous when they find who they are. And I'm joyous about speaking about me and what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
And I can speak in a way that they can receive that because I'm not trying to make a case for myself.
Mm.
I'm just being me. And for those that love me, they just continue to love me. And for those that don't understand yet,
Mm.
they will someday, but I'm much more palatable now.
Mm.
I'm easier to be around, I think. And it's a happier place for all of us to be.
Yeah, definitely. And you feel that you found, through your work, through your personal evolution and professional evolution with this work, you feel that you found a balance between that, between, just having that family, like just the love flowing out and then having that ripple out into your work. How do you experience those two intertwined or connected?
My life is my work. My work is my life.
Mm.
I'm aligned, you see? So there's nothing that's separate from me. Everything I do is connected to me. Everything I experience is connected to me. I create my world. And so I choose with my feet of places that I want to be or don't want to be. And my life is the blossoming of who I am. And so everything is a celebration. Even when it's hard, I'm not saying that it's all rainbows and sunflowers,
Mm-hmm.
but even those things are part of me. So I celebrate that too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Suzanne, having reached that in yourself, because you're so grounded in that, like that, it really is who you are. And I mean, I even feel that as you're speaking, as do I'm sure all of you who are listening and watching, from that place, like what's the gift that you bring? Like, what's your biggest passion, having found that in yourself?
My biggest passion is transmitting, being the example of this love that I am at my core. And my greatest passion is waking others up to the depth and the truth of who they are at their core so they can experience this sweetness of life before it's too late. You know, I was reading the other day about 5 things that people who are dying regret when they're dying. And for me, it's the remembering that death is just in my back pocket, and not to wait until that time to say, oh, I wish I knew who I was. I wish I would have spoken my truth. I wish I would have done this or done that. I'm here to be an example of waking up to who I am. And so my passion is to serve others to see that it's okay over here, that it can be beautiful and magnificent, and to just be the invitation of that.
Thank you. For those who are waking up, I mean, women and men alike, but I think women specifically are the ones resonating. I'm sure the ones who are watching. What do you see their next step being? Like, for those who are waking up, where, I mean, you know where they're going. What's the next step?
is their expression of their waking up without holding back, you know, being the expression of the light that they are without holding back, without anything that would hold them back from expressing their love in the moment, expressing their creativity in the moment, expressing their joy, their passion, their upset in the moment, but from a place of love and knowing who they are. You know, because what happens is we have all kinds of excuses for not being real, really now. And when you wake up, it's about sharing that from your aligned self. It's about sharing who you are, fully expressed. We're we get into trouble when we hold back any part of ourselves. And we have the most joy when we express all of us fully without holding back, with no excuses of, oh, over there they can't handle us. That's not true. The only reason that we think that they can't handle us is we have a judgment on them, and we're waiting to hold back our true selves. Give it all. Don't hold back. Don't be miserly. Give it all now. Now is the time. Right now.
What if people, especially the ones, for those of you who are listening and thinking, what do I do if I don't know how to stop holding back? What if there's this fear or this discomfort or this anxiety or this, again, fear, which is what I think most of the time comes up? What do they do with that?
Well, that is why we have accelerated evolution. That is why we have this methodology. Because if you have any fear, if you have any fear holding you back, anything that's holding you back from being your true self, that's where accelerated evolution comes into place, because it takes you from anything, any obstacles you have, to living your fullest self and taking you from there to where you want to be. So I would say that you get a hold of someone in accelerated evolution who is a practitioner, and you call them and you make them your coach. You invite them to be your coach, because a coach is someone that call you, Talia. Call Talia right now.
Yeah, call me.
Right now.
But in all honesty, truly, it's profound. It's profound, and I mean the changes I've seen. I mean, you're saying call Talia. A year and a half ago, it was not call Talia. It was where you are right now, perhaps, of help me, and it's truly been just profound what's come from it. Profound. And so from your experience, Suzanne, as a coach and as somebody who's received it and still does in your own evolution, how would you explain it? How would you explain accelerated evolution? How do you explain this journey from going from fear and stuck and holding back your gift and who you are to this just uninhibited expression? How do you from your experience explain that?
Yeah, so I explain it like going to a spa for your soul, because that's what I offer in my work. It's really as if before you step into the spa, and the work that we do is mostly on Skype. So what you would do is you would come and you would meet with me on Skype, and I'd find out a little bit about you and find out what hurts. What's going on? I'll touch on places that hurt you and where you want to be, where do you want to go? What is it that's holding you back from there? And then basically when I find out what's going on, I will give you a prescription and say, okay, at least 3 months, you come and you come to my Spa for the Soul on Skype. And there I will take you on a guided journey. So it's a guided experience. It's like midwifery, actually, where you're birthing something. and you're feeling the contractions and birth pains, and I find out how far along you are, and then we help get this birth happening through guided experiences, and we get to see the preciousness of what happens when um, you get born.
Yeah.
You come into life. So it's guided experiences.
Thank you, Suzanne, so much for just expressing who you are and for your journey to finding that. And now, as an offering to everyone that you touch, myself included, my life has completely been um, illuminated by you. So just thank you for showing up as an offering of that and as an example of that to all of us, and especially to the people who just get to know you. So thank you again for coming on the show and giving us that permission to express. And for those of you who would like to connect with Suzanne, get in touch with us through Accelerated Evolution. The link will be in the description of this show. And Suzanne, any last words before we sign off?
Well, I want to say what a pleasure it's been to spend this time with you all. And please remember that there's a deep peace that is all of us, that is ready to be awakened and opened and expressed. Find that peace. Find that peace. Hunt for that peace. And when you do find it, become the example of that peace so that others too, there can be a ripple of happiness. That don't wait. It's now, right now. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings.